So Recode's Kara Swisher, in conversation with the CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, had some interesting things to say about certain YouTube creators at the recent Lesbians Who Tech Summit. You see, Swisher is worried about her son watching Ben Shapiro videos because he's a gateway to other presumably nefarious content such as Jordan Peterson and eventually neo-Nazi content. Not only that, she thinks Ben Shapiro is an idiot, albeit a clever idiot. Let's have a listen.
My son, who's 13 years old, started watching Ben Shapiro videos, and he's like the gateway drug to the next group. And then it goes right to Jordan Peterson, then it goes down, and in 3 clicks, he was at neo-Nazi stuff. It was like astonishing, and then I had to listen to it at dinner. And I was sort of like, I'm going to kill Susan Wojcicki first.
Okay,
and then,
here I am.
But it was sort of like, is there anything, like, it feels like, as I said, I think you've heard me say this, it feels like all you tech companies have built cities, these beautiful cities, but you decided not to initially put in police, fire, garbage, street signs, and stuff like that. And so it feels like the purge every night. I mean, what? It's a good joke, but it is. I'm sort of like, and then I've got like this kid who's like, well, Ben Shapiro's sort of smart. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not even slightly. He's clever, but he's an idiot. And anyway, it's just like, it's exhausting.
Now, the first thing I thought when I heard her say that was, well, of course your son is listening to Ben Shapiro, if that's your dismissive, ignorant attitude. I mean, the way she described Ben Shapiro as a gateway to Jordan Peterson is kind of odd, given that Shapiro leans further to the right than Peterson. But then to suggest that neo-Nazi material is just 3 clicks away from Jordan Peterson, as though Peterson is remotely close on the spectrum to neo-Nazis, is just downright absurd. And if her son, when bringing up arguments at the dinner table, is told, well, Shapiro's just an idiot, then no doubt that will just encourage him to watch more. And how many sort of smart people do you know use like 9 times in a single paragraph? Anyway, Swisher goes on.
But it has like a huge effect on them. Do you feel like the people, like, on a bigger thing, and it's not your total responsibility, Susan, but do you feel like the people still have a sense of this, of the impact they have, and are capable of dealing with it, or will regulatory measures just have to come into place? Because it's already starting in Europe, it's starting in California here with privacy bills. Do you feel like you're all able to do that?
So the real import of what Swisher is saying is that she'd like to censor things that she personally doesn't like, and she jokingly suggests exactly that in the next exchange.
So getting to your son.
He's lost.
No, we can work on your son here. I have a son too, and I get some of these discussions also at the dinner table.
Right.
I mean, so it's I think what you're describing is, and the way we think about it too, look, there's a set of content that has to meet the community guidelines. Ben Shapiro is going to meet the community guidelines. So I don't think you're suggesting that we remove him from the platform, are you?
I would, but I can't. No.
Okay.
But last time I saw you, I was like, get Alex Jones off that platform, and you're like, well, the community guidelines, and then you got him
now
off.
He's not on the platform.
I know, so I was right, but that's
it was the terms of service, actually.
Terms of service. He broke the terms of service.
He broke our terms of service, yes.
Yeah.
Now, it's only fair to note that throughout the podcast, she does consistently speak in this overly exaggerated, sarcastic tone. She clarified to Shapiro in tweets that she actually doesn't want to ban Shapiro's videos and that she doesn't stop her son from watching them. But still, I'd be more worried than I already am if Swisher was writing YouTube's community guidelines. I mean, they're bad enough already. And Swisher has form. She was one of those tolerant people that leapt on the outrage train when the video of the Covington boys first emerged. This was her initial hot take on the situation. To her credit, she did realise her mistake, but you have to ask, what preconceived biases must you harbour to make such a statement in the first place? And even then, she makes a quip about the Gillette ad, calling her son wrong to think it was a male-shaming ad. Not sort of smart at all. Apparently she made other tweets about Covington which she deleted and now can't be found because the account that recorded them has been suspended from Twitter. This article in Forbes is from 2012 titled What Kara Swisher Really Thinks About Boys, Girls and Getting More Women into Tech. It starts off with, all things digital's Kara Swisher is the mother of 2 little boys. And let me tell you, they think a lot of themselves. They go around the house like, I'm so awesome, and I'm usually the one who's like, yeah, not so much. The article was one of those whinges about why there aren't many women in tech, particularly in leadership positions. Swisher said there's a confidence problem among young girls, pointing to parents, media and messaging. Unfortunately for Swisher's narrative, the 4 female panellists then spoke about a certain person in their lives that explicitly told them they should pursue a technical education. In 3 out of the 4 cases, it was a father. But as is par for the course with Swisher, any evidence running counter to her worldview is just dismissed. So is it any wonder her son is attracted to people like Peterson, someone that thinks deeply before he speaks and backs what he says with evidence, rather than shooting from the hip, making not-so-smart statements and then having to walk them back and, in some cases, delete them? Now, there's another issue here related to what Susan Wojcicki said about YouTube's recommendation system.
Recommendations, for example, like we just made a change to how we handle recommendations to be able to, where we have raters, the raters go through, we make sure they're representative from all parts of the US, we publish the guidelines. Those raters then identify a set of videos that they think could be, like they might technically meet the requirements of following our community guidelines, but they're close. And there's a lot of content there's like a 1% that brushes up against the community guidelines. And so what we do is we identify this with a set of them with humans, and then we use machines and machine learning to expand. And based on that, then we are basically very unlikely to recommend that.
So who are those 1%? I'm sure they'd like to know if their videos aren't being recommended. I'd like to know if I was amongst that 1%. It may have something to do with this shoddily put together report on the so-called alternative influence network that included people from Dave Rubin and Tim Pool to Richard Spencer and Millennial Woes. Many people have already made videos about this report. Sargon has made more than one, so check them out if you want to know more. But suffice to say, if YouTube is operating under recommendations from the Alternative Influence Report and their woke staff, then this is just another roadblock put in the way of those that create politically orientated content that doesn't align with progressive narratives. And although that's probably of great comfort to the not-so-smart Swisher, I suspect it doesn't go far enough for her taste. I'll see you next time.